Welcome to Fostering Blooms, the podcast where we dig deep into gardening and all the ways it can enrich your home and life.
Together, we'll explore every aspect of gardening the organic way, keeping it simple, accessible, and fun.
Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just getting your hands in the dirt, we're here to share the tips and insights you need to grow something truly special. I'm Shannon Foster-Boleen.
And I'm Caitlyn Blum, and we're two friends on a mission to cultivate beauty, creativity, and connection through everything we grow.
This is Fostering Blooms.
Bock, 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 bock.
That's a
Bock,
way.
bock, bock into Fostering Blooms.
That's a way to start an episode. Bet you weren't expecting that one.
No, I wasn't even.
I know your face was like, what just happened? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've been dying to do
Bock,
this.
bock, bock.
I've been dying to do this episode because I really am curious about the chickens that you have. And I've been benefiting because Caitlyn will bring me a dozen eggs when I need them, basically, and they're amazing.
They're so
They're so good. Anyways, in the past, I thought I wanted chickens, and I wasn't sure. I can't have them where I live. It's weird because we have enough land. You would think we could, but it's
I know,
a
which
situation.
I hate because I would have definitely pressured you into getting
Yeah.
already. So
Yeah.
it's probably a good thing you can't have animals because like when you said that to me, I'm like, okay, I'll back off.
Right. Thank you, HOA maybe this time.
What about some secret chicken?
We are at the back of the subdivision, so people might not know. But anyways, the point is, I think there's other people out there that you have chickens who end up with a garden, or if you have a garden, you want chickens. And I want to talk about how you raise these chickens. So we are going to do a little bit of a speed round because I'm sure that we can make this an hour-long episode really easily. This is like a teaser. So think of it as like an amuse-bouche of chicken information.
An amuse-bouche.
Yes.
That's exactly.
A chicken amuse-bouche.
Amuse-bouche of poultry.
That's right. So we're going to time these questions. So Caitlyn's got like a 1-minute timer on her watch that we hope we can manage. And I've got my list of questions.
All right, I'm ready. Yeah, I could talk about animals for a while. I know
Yes.
more about, there's a lot of secret knowledge about animals in my brain. And anytime anybody wants to talk about it, I'm game. I was like,
Yeah.
Shannon, we need to time this.
Yeah. And you don't even know we're going to do a goat episode too. Because
Okay.
yeah, and it's going to be fantastic. All right. I've got your phone for the timer.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you these questions and you get 1 minute.
Okay. And when the minute's up, you have to go, buck, buck, buck.
I can do that. I'm game. Okay. What made you want to raise chickens in the first place?
So growing up, we had all types of animals. I mean, birds, guinea pigs, rabbits, everything. But we never had farm animals in our family. I think I was about 18. We had a little bit of property and we're like, let's get some chickens and let's get some goats. I mean, and I definitely was like the force on this. And so we got like 6 chickens, started with Americanas and some Dominiques. One of them we named Bock Bock Beyonce.
That's the best name.
And so, yeah, that was and I've had him ever since. There was a break when I didn't have him for like 5 or 6 years when I was in college. But yeah.
That's good because that would have been really weird if you had a chicken in your room.
I want to say I had ducks that I kept in my dorm for a little bit. Anyways, I'll leave it at that.
That's an interesting dorm story for another episode. Okay, so for somebody who's never had chickens before, where do you even begin? How many chickens should you start with?
Okay, I should get 2 minutes for this. I like to say that chickens are like the gateway drug into farming or homesteading because once you get those, you're just like down a rabbit hole. There's so much fun. You're like, what else can I do? So I would say do some research first, find out what kind of breed you want. Like, are you wanting for egg laying? Are you wanting for meat bird? What's the purpose? I mean, I guess for intents purposes, this is about egg laying. I
was going to say, I don't think we're going to talk about meat birds, but let me pause the timer. I will tell you that one day we were getting together to talk about seeds or something that night. I went and got some cheese and some bread, and I showed up, and she's like, yeah, I butchered a chicken today, and I'm cooking it. I've got some really good. I was like, wait, rewind.
What did you do?
You butchered a chicken today. So she does know how to do that. My suggestion to you is do not mess with her because she knows how to cut a neck. Okay.
Best bone broth though. I mean,
Oh my God. I went crazy for it. Anyways, okay, gotta go back to the question. Okay, so for this purpose, we're talking about eggs.
we're talking about eggs. I would look into what type of breeds you want. You know, there's so many different types of egg-laying chicken breeds. You know, do you want colored eggs? Do you want Americanas? And then look into, do you have the space for them in your backyard?
Right.
You know, you really don't need a lot of space for them. And I know that's one of your questions.
How many chickens should you possibly start with?
So how big is your family? I mean, do you have a family of 6? Do you eat like a dozen eggs a day?
I can't imagine feeding a family of 6.
I can't either.
I feel like any person who feeds a family of 6 should get like some kind of prize.
Absolutely. I usually, if someone asked me this, I would say 3 or 4. I would say 3 or 4 chickens is a really good place to start. You're getting, 2 to 3 eggs a day.
Okay.
Depending on, and that kind of relates back to what kind of breed. You can get a Rhode Island Red that lays 340 eggs a year, or a salmon Faverolles lays 280 eggs a year. So some are bred to have a larger production of eggs.
Does it tell you that when you go to order it?
It does.
Okay.
So that's a whole nother ball of wax too.
Yeah.
Where are you going to get your chickens? I know the timer went off and I just ignored it.
Well, I actually even stopped the timer. I gave her extra time and then just started it again when I thought, well, if I don't start it now, we're just going to keep going.
That's why we have a timer.
That's right. Okay, so let's just pretend for the sake of argument in this conversation that it's a family of 4.
Okay.
You've got basically a chicken a person, it sounds like. Maybe?
Yeah.
So would that be considered a small flock? Or?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so how much space do you actually need for a small backyard flock?
I wouldn't just have one chicken. A lot of farm animals are herd or flock animals. They need friends,
Yeah.
If you had 2 to 4 chickens, I would say probably a 3x4 coop with a little upper area would be sufficient for them. They like to roost. Chickens are blind at night. A lot of people don't know that.
They're blind at night?
They're blind at night.
I didn't know that.
That's why they roost. They get off the ground because they can't see. And
what an awful time of day, like, to be blind.
I know.
That's when you want to see.
Yeah, I know. And that's when they're kind of flighty,
Yeah.
like at night. And they just roost. They get as high as they can.
Okay.
Because they know that's where they're safe.
Okay.
And you also have to think about too, like, am I going to be letting my chickens out in my backyard during the day?
Right.
Or are they going to be in the chicken coop all the time? Do you have a fenced in backyard where you can let them out during the day and they're safe?
Okay.
Or do they need to stay in their run all the time? If they need to stay in their run all the time, I would say they want probably a 4-foot by 12-foot run where they can walk around during the day.
So theoretically, you could have like a 1/4 acre lot in the city of Knoxville. You can have chickens. You could have a small lot and have chickens, but not a rooster. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that actually is perfect because it leads us into the next section, was just housing and setup. So what kind of coop setup do you recommend? Store-bought or DIY?
I've had both. My dad and I made a really awesome coop. It was 4-foot by 12-foot, and we had the ability to put it on wheels so we could move it around and you could walk in it. And there was a little upper coop section. They need roost so they can get up high.
Right.
So that's when we built. But I've also had ones from the store, but they were made from balsamic wood, and they deteriorate quickly. If you do get one from the store, you can find really nice coops by those shed companies and stuff. Really nice custom coops. I mean, you can go all out.
I bet even Etsy or Facebook Marketplace probably has people locally that are
absolutely
making them. So the coop is the house.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the run is like that area that they get to go back and forth on. So you had a coop on wheels. You could move the coop to different sections of the yard.
Yeah, exactly.
And why would you do that?
Let's say if I just kept the chickens in the run all the time, I didn't have the ability in my backyard to let them out. Mm-hmm. You could move your coop around, your coop in attached run around, and they'll get fresh grass.
And fresh bugs, because they're eating bugs, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. What's essential in a chicken coop and what's just like nice to have?
Yeah, obviously you need a water. I have like a 5-gallon water that I fill up every few days, and then your chicken feeder. Then I do 2 things. I have little chicks, so I have like a 3-gallon feeder, and it has little spaces at the bottom, and the food kind of flows out, so you can do that. I also have like a big shallow bucket, and they, all peck in it. So different styles, very basic needs for chickens.
All right. So we'll talk about food in a second because I have more questions about that. But I guess my last two are like, how much maintenance does a coop require, and how often do you clean it? And then how do you keep your chickens safe from predators?
So, this is terrible, but I don't really clean out the coop.
Okay.
I'm probably not capitalizing on all the manure in there.
Yeah.
I could clean it out, but the way it is in there is I'll put down shavings, so it's kind of like a deep litter method, but it's also just kind of dusty. And there is poop, but I mean, it kind of turns into dust. All of my older chickens sleep in the rafters of the barn.
Really? That's where they want to be?
Yeah, Sierra bought me this beautiful coop for Valentine's Day 2 years ago, and like the chickens, they go back and they roost where they come out of in the morning. Like they are like, and I tried putting them all back in the coop and shutting them in, and no, they kept sleeping in the damn barn in those rafters. And I was like, fine, whatever. So I got a new batch of chickens this year, and I was like, you're all sleeping in this coop. So they are actually, and I was just feeding everybody in the coop, but now they're actually in there sleeping at night. I will probably this fall, I'll clean it out and put down fresh shavings.
Okay.
But really not, it's wet, it's dry in there, and it's all open. But in the fall, because it's a run style coop, I'll put up plastic on the sides to keep them insulated in the winter.
Okay.
When you're insulated like that, like they can breathe in the ammonia from their poop and stuff, and it's not good for the lungs, kind of delicate lungs. So if you have them in a situation where they are in a more cooped area and it's not well ventilated, you definitely need to clean it out. So
yeah. So how do you protect them from predators?
Good question. So we have donkeys. Mini donkeys that kind of really help with like coyotes or foxes, and then really closing your coop at night. I have had occurrences where raccoons have gotten in the coop that I've left open, or there was a hole where they got in, which I fixed. But I've had some fatalities. So closing your birds up at night, they're vulnerable, they're blind.
Yeah.
And then I have had geese in the past too. I mean, this is quite advanced, but they're really good.
Oh, you know they use those to guard prisons.
I know, because they're so loud.
And aggressive.
They can be very
aggressive.
Sierra hated them, so we don't have any geese
Yeah.
anymore. But roosters also are actually fabulous at protecting their girls from aerial predators. I
Okay.
have seen a hawk come down, try to get one of the birds. The rooster will run over with its spurs and like fight, and the hawk flew off. But I only keep nice roosters.
Yeah, well, and you can't have them sometimes in the suburban tree.
So in
So
that
locking
case,
them up.
Locking them up at night, and then, you need them in a fenced-in area. So kind of just
Okay.
depends on the situation you're in.
All right. So
I've not really heated this timer.
Well, I haven't either because I just turned it off and just let you keep going.
Sorry.
We may have a how to care for chickens part 1 and a keeping chickens
I know, this
part
is like
2.
very, very surface level.
I mean, there's a lot more to talk about. Tell me what chickens eat, and is as simple as just buying feed. And do you give your chickens kitchen scraps and garden leftovers? And that's a question I can actually answer, but you go for it.
I'll answer part 1, and then you can answer part 2. So yeah, I go to Tractor Supply and I get my chicken feed there. I do a mixture of the Lane pellets and a scratch grain, and they do really well on that. I could go into about like nutrition and specifics, but I won't. I'll just leave it at that. You can also give them mealworms. Chickens are omnivores. So they will eat anything.
I mean, so here's part of how I get my eggs is that I am supposed to be composting this year. It's one of my goals, which is still unfulfilled. However, how I've been composting is I take, quote, donkey bags, or I thought they were donkey bags full of like things from the garden or mainly food scraps because I cook a lot, and I'll put everything in a bag and take it to Caitlyn, and I found out it's really more of a chicken bag because they eat everything except for some sourdough that I bought one time at the store that took them like a month.
There's actually still a loaf in there.
I believe it. I believe it. I don't know how we
I need
ate
to
that.
just get it out there.
I had to make my own. Because that
How are we eating these bricks no
yeah,
more?
exactly. They eat everything. I had a dude told me recently, he's like, don't die in a chicken run because they will eat you down to the bone.
Oh, they're amazing. They will eat. And I don't compost either because I give everything to the animals.
Yeah.
The chickens are amazing. They will eat any scraps, anything.
So she never
It's
comes
gone.
to my house and doesn't leave with a bag. And when I drive to go to work in the morning, sometimes I will stop by and drop off the bag and they can eat it all.
Absolutely.
How do you handle food and water in winter versus summer? And is it true that they'll eat pests in the garden? What's your experience?
Great question. So in the winter, we've been okay. I usually just kind of like knock the ice out if it gets really cold.
Of the water, you mean?
Of the water, yeah. Because
Okay.
I have water in there. And in the mornings, when it snows and it freezes, I bring out like 2 big buckets of like hot water and I defrost all the buckets. That's just animal care in general.
Your waterer, is it an electric waterer? Like what kind of waterer is this?
Do I have currently?
Or is it you just fill it up and it kind of
Yeah,
comes down?
exactly.
Okay.
Just fill it up. It's like 5 gallons and there's
Okay.
this twist top and you take the top off and you fill it up and there's a little valve at the
just-
bottom and
Oh,
it fills
okay.
up a shallow pit.
Okay.
But you can get heated waterers, but I would need to do electricity. So that's, something else
Yeah.
to think about. In the summer, I just make sure everybody has fresh water all the time when it's
Yeah.
hot.
Okay. Pests in the garden, what have you noticed about that?
So I have it set up now where they can't really get into the garden, so they don't really come in there. And they will eat pests. They'll eat things here and there, which is great. But also they love scratching the ground. I mean, they love scratch. So it's going to scratch your shit off.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
And
heard
your
they really,
seedlings.
really damage the garden a lot.
They now got, everything's growing and there's no like seedlings really. Yeah. I mean,
Right.
I would let them in there. So it's just kind of dependent on your season. Now my turkeys, they come in and they eat the cabbage moths off.
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and they don't scratch around like that. Although they were trampling my dill a little bit, but I told her to get the cabbage moths and it was over by the dill. But Pippa was like, she was sitting there watching them and she'd pluck them off. I was like, yes.
Like the
Yes.
eggs or the moth itself?
The moths and the caterpillars.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but the chickens are a little bit more like, they'll peck at your tomatoes and just kind of like,
Yeah,
they're very
if
spacey. They're not like organized in the garden. They're like, what can benefit me here?
Right. If you want to know more about the turkeys, I mean, we should talk about them at some point too, but she ended up getting 2 baby turkeys and they completely like bonded with her and their names are Pippa and Gravy. I really wanted it to be Turks and Caicos, but my opinion was not requested for names, so I can't imagine why. But anyway, check out our Instagram because she has Turkey Thursdays on our stories and every Thursday she does an update. And I mean, literally these turkeys will sit on her shoulders, sit on her head with a hat. It's crazy. Anyway,
They're
when they were
wild.
babies, they're getting big, pretty big now, but okay. All right. So when do hens typically start laying and how many eggs can you expect per chicken per week?
Great questions. So they'll start laying around 5 months old. And it's interesting. A lot of people get spring chickens. Like that's the thing, spring chicks.
Okay.
Mine were born in March. They'll start laying around August. And it's actually probably better to do the reverse because they're born in the fall and they start laying in the spring. It's interesting. I don't know why in the industry it's kind of started that way, but
Will
that's
you
just the way
buy
it is.
another batch in the fall?
No, I think we're good. I ordered 25. They sent me 28 in the spring, and we have like 19. I traded 3 for the turkeys, and then there were some fatalities with the chicks, and they arrived. Anyways,
Yeah.
I won't go into that. So 5 months old, they start laying, and then how many eggs per week from each chicken? I don't know, Shannon, because I just go out and collect them. I don't know who's laying what. Now, if you have 3 to 6 chickens, you will know, okay, I've seen her lay the eggs. And 2, people like the colored eggs, Easter egg or
Right.
Americanas and the Ruricanas. And now olive eggers, there's a bunch of different breeds. If you know what color they lay, you'll know who comes from who. And, oh, she laid this one today. She lays every day, whatever. And
Right.
I just know a chicken's not going to lay an egg every single day of the year.
Thank God.
I know.
would.
Chickens are really ovulating every day. Isn't that crazy? They lay, every other day or every 36 hours.
And they slow down in the winter because
They do.
usually I'm like, hey, I need some eggs. I'm doing some holiday baking. And it's like, oh, well, you're going to have to buy them. So
This year I was like, I'm out because I have a bunch of older girls. Some of my
Yeah.
girls are getting like 5 to 7 years old. So there was like a span of probably a month and a half, we didn't have any eggs. And it is really hard for me to buy eggs. I'm glad I got as many as I did because the girls are getting older. I probably won't get any again until next Oh,
that timer.
You're right.
I think that was a 3-minute timer that I let you have there. Okay.
What's next?
All right. Do you have to do anything special to encourage good egg production? And one other question that I have in there is, do you have to have a rooster? And then if they stop laying, do they live a long time after that?
So the first part of that, special diets. No, the only thing I do add along with their laying feed and the scratch grains is chicken grit. So they need that to help with.
How often do they need that?
They kind of regulate themselves on that. I mix like a big solo cup full in when I mix my food up and stuff.
So you put the grit in the food?
I put it in there. Some people do it separately. I've done that before, but I find that it just sometimes gets dirty and wet. I'd rather it be in their food and it's getting consumed. And they kind of regulate how much they need. That helps with the calcium. So if you have like thin, flimsy eggs, I'm like, oh, I need more
And
grit.
the grit comes in different sizes. Do you have to get a certain size?
I just get the chicken grit at Tractor Supply.
Yeah, I've ordered some chicken grit from Chewy.
Yeah.
And I ended up with the huge chunk, way bigger than I've ever seen. And I would have used it to plant my lavender.
Yeah,
It's like, what kind of chicken is that?
It's really big.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. So if they stop laying, will they continue to live after that, or it's time to?
It's interesting. I have some girls that are living that are not laying eggs anymore. No, I would have some kind of menopause, and they're just kind of living their lives out. They're not laying.
That's
anymore.
what I'm doing. I'm just.
You're just living your
my
life out. Yeah, and I think you deserve to live.
I feel like I deserve to live.
Me and Sierra have this debate. She's like, oh, these chickens are not laying anything. And I'm like, honey, like they've worked hard for us. They've spent the last 7 years ovulating every day so we could have omelets.
Yeah.
They deserve to live their life.
Yeah, it's like a spa day continually for them now. They should have
just
that.
hang out, and they're gonna die eventually of natural causes, and that's fine. I'd rather them just find them down.
You're gonna die because you're gonna.
I know. Yeah.
But I will say this: it's cool because it sounds bad to say it's cool that you're slaughtering a chicken, but it is the natural cycle of things, and it's pretty cool that that if push came to shove and you needed to provide meat for your family, that you could handle that.
Yes, yes, we could. And I get extra roosters intentionally for that reason.
To have rooster meat?
Yeah, I like to keep at least 2 roosters if 3 will get along. I've had 3 at one point, but you have to be a nice rooster to live on my farm long term.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going in the...
Yeah, you're going in the broth.
So my roosters are they're gentlemanly.
Yeah, I like that.
They take care of the
Because I was tortured by a rooster when I was younger. I was really afraid. I think I asked this earlier. Do you have to have a rooster to get the chickens to lay?
You don't. And a lot of people just don't know that.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you do not.
So they're going to lay regardless.
You can have 3 hens and they are going to lay. It's just their natural ovulation. Now, if you want a fertilized egg, if you wanted to hatch and incubate your own eggs, you need to have a rooster to fertilize that egg.
Okay. All right. So let's see. What's been the hardest and most unexpected part of raising chicken?
I need a minute on the timer to think about that. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you could take your minute to think and just not answer the question. And
that's really
our listeners can just sit there.
Okay, this is random, but I don't really name my chickens anymore. I mean, we've had upwards of like 40 chickens at one point, so you can't name all of them. But every time I name a chicken,
something happens.
Yeah, it happens. And Sierra's like, you got to stop naming them. They keep dying on you. You get attached to them, and losses are hard. Yeah, you get attached to them.
Because they have different personalities.
They do. I have some chickens that I've never touched. Like, they don't want to be touched. And I have some that I lift up and put on their roost every night. Yeah. And some that I've fed and some that have followed me around. And I could call by name and they would come around to the front porch. They are very different. And some breeds are friendlier than others. It's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. And is there anything that you wish you would have known before you had started into the world of chickens?
Bock 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 bock. I wish I'd done it sooner. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, you're really 18.
I know.
Wish I would have started at 4.
I wasn't buying shoes at 18. I was buying farm animals. Like cows.
Yeah.
Literally spent my money on buying a milk cow. That's a whole nother episode.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I love them. They're great. I'll give you this. If you've thought about having chickens and you're allowed to where you live, it's such a enriching thing. Like knowing where your food comes from. And if you have kids, it's a great thing for the kids to go out and collect the egg. But they're also like minimal. Like if you have them in a run, you can have their feed in their water. You can go away for the weekend. It's not like you need a farm sitter.
That was one of my questions.
Yeah. It's as long as they have their basic requirements. And
do you have to collect eggs every single day?
I don't. Now, I'm probably getting 3 to 4 eggs a day right now. My girls are really slow.
Yeah.
They need, and I don't think I mentioned this, they need at least 14 hours of sunlight a day to lay.
Okay.
And older girls will stop laying. And you could put artificial light in your coop and extend, the daylight they get, but I think they need a break.
Yeah, I agree.
They need a break.
Do they pick back up in the fall, or is it less?
I have all those chicks. August hits, all these new babies should be laying.
Okay, the last question I'm going to ask, why not buy like 15 chicks in the fall and 15 in the spring?
You could absolutely do that if you wanted 30.
I'm just saying, like, why not divide it? Well, you were scared about not being able to get enough chickens when the egg situation happened earlier this year.
There was a second breakout of the avian flu, and I panicked bought like $250 worth of chickens.
Yeah.
Came out, I was like, Sierra, I just bought $250 worth of chickens.
Which is 25 cartons of farmers market quality eggs.
Wow, that's interesting. Wow.
And you've definitely gotten more than 25 cartons of eggs in a year.
Absolutely. And once they start laying, we just give eggs away because I've sold them before, but I'd rather just give them to friends and stuff.
Yeah, to the people that bring you the donkey bags.
Absolutely. The people that feed them.
I'm thinking.
The people that feed them.
Right. I have an investment in the chickens to make sure that they eat well.
Yes, you do. And they eat, honey.
Oh, good.
I think raising chicks is fun, but it's also tedious. Raising chicks for your first time is so much fun, but I've just done it for so long that I just want to raise them once and be done. I mean, cleaning out their water and their food. I sound like I'm like, but I've just done it, like it's when you're raising your own baby chicks,
it's a lot of work.
It is. But it's fun for those who haven't done it before. It's your first time. But like when you do it every year, every other year, I'd rather just do one big batch. And
that's why.
And then your sizes of chickens are different too. So, it took me a minute to get the flock kind of all oriented together. And so adding another small size of thing,
would mess it up. Makes sense. I think that's a good one to end on.
Yeah, it's just the tip of the iceberg.
It's so fascinating to me how much knowledge you have in this. And I'm so really and truly grateful that I can get fresh eggs from you because I had some this morning and I mean, you just know the difference. They just taste amazing. And earlier, one of our listeners was telling me the other day that she feeds her chickens marigolds because they just love it and it makes the eggs even richer.
I love that. I'm going to try that because I have marigolds. I mean, but the big thing is their bug and grass intake, which, I mean, the more grass they eat, the brighter their eggs will be, and the vitamin D too. But the marigolds, that's really interesting because it's used as a dye. So we'll try it.
We'll see what happens. So thanks for the tip. And I think that's it. So let's go get dirty.
Bock, bock. Let's go raise some chickens, baby.
Okay.
If you're up to your ears in zucchini and still pretending to like it raw, it might be time to hang out with gardeners who get it. If this episode made you smile, sparked an idea, or just made you feel a little less alone in your tomato avalanche, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. It helps other gardeners find us and keeps this growing little podcast blooming all season long. We appreciate you more than a perfectly ripe heirloom on toast. See you next time.